So in secondary market, abhi the strong foothold is no broker, right? Secondary mein he's been like basically running that secondary market show where they're claiming no broker ke through you can get the best listing, best prices and all. So how would you compete with that, especially in the secondary market?
See, I mean, this is my personal opinion, and I think no broker is doing a fantastic job. But I have my doubts in terms of the model.
Of not having broker at all in between.
I'll tell you why. I have my doubts in the overall model. Why in India people hate brokers?
I think it's because of the experience you get.
Yeah.
Hard, like there's no professionalism and being very unorganized. So yeah, that is it. I'm saying from my personal experience.
People hate brokers.
Yeah.
Right? In India. That's not the case across the globe.
True.
Why people hate brokers in the country? Because there is no entry barrier for being a broker. कोई कुछ नहीं कर पा रहा है, broker बन जाता है.
Broker बन जाता है.
ठीक है, एक सिक्योरिटी गार्ड बैठा है, उसको पता है ये फ्लैट रेंट पे है, ये फ्लैट बेचना है, तो he will tell this to, उसके पास कोई आता है पूछने के लिए, यहाँ कोई फ्लैट खाली है क्या? बोलता है खाली है, 1 महीने का ब्रोकरेज लगेगा. He becomes a broker.
True.
पान वाले को पता है, उसके पास कोई सिगरेट पीने आया है कि भैया मेरे को, उसने बात करते सुना किसी को, पान वाला ब्रोकर बन जाता है. इंडिया में ये प्रॉब्लम है. तो नो ब्रोकर इज अ बेटर सॉल्यूशन देन अ बैड ब्रोकर. और इंडिया में मेजॉरिटी बैड ब्रोकर्स है. इट्स अ बेटर सॉल्यूशन. बट आपने कभी किसी अच्छे ब्रोकर को कनेक्ट किया है? हैव यू एवर गॉट इन टच विद अ गुड ब्रोकर हुम यू फील यार ये बंदा अच्छा है, वांट टू ट्रांजैक्ट विद हिम? नो. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल इन दिस कंट्री who work with their brokers.
True, yeah.
A lot of people in this country who work with their brokers. Why they work with that broker? Because they find value the broker is adding in the transaction. Resale and rental, right? Resale is a different ball game. Rental is a different ball game in terms of the transaction complexities, nature of the transaction. Rental transaction, high value rental transactions, and low value rental transactions.
So high value be the commercial part and
commercials, the big residences where like 3 lakh, 4 lakh rentals are there.
True.
With deposits run into like 25 lakhs, 20 lakhs. And then small rentals, 10,000, 20,000. Rent deposits maybe 40, 50,000 rupees. I think people would love a good broker than a no broker. It's my personal opinion, and this is what the situation is globally, right? They want a broker in between.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. You are a seller, I'm a buyer, right? We get in touch, and then I say, okay, you are quoting 1 crore. I want to give it only 95 lakhs. You say no. I want to, maybe, I can come down 1 lakh. I cannot do less than 99 lakhs. And we both say, okay, let me think. You say, okay, you think, or I'll also think. Who is going to call whom? Who is going to call whom? If I call you, will you budge?
No, of course.
If you call me, will I budge?
No. Yeah.
Will this transaction ever happen?
No.
You need a moderator. You need someone who can bring you down to 98 and who can bring him down to 97, up to 97, and then says, एक बार और meeting कर लेते हैं.
Yeah.
Right? This is what I feel is the best way to do it. Number 1. Right? Number 2. How big is our country? Huge.
Huge, yeah.
How big is Andheri? Huge. A person who is sitting below a building, nobody knows better about that building than a broker sitting right below that building.
True.
Can I put an employee and make him more knowledgeable than that broker about that building?
No.
He knows every flat. कि इस flat में leakage है. आप ये flat मत लो. Can an employee whom I put him there, even for, let's say, he stays with me, he sticks with me, my policies are great, and he's there with me for 5 years, 7 years, do you think he'll become as knowledgeable as that guy who lives in that building maybe, and a broker who lives in that building maybe, and who has been there for decades?
Can happen, na? Can happen.
नहीं होगा.
नहीं होगा.
5 साल को टिकेगा नहीं आपके साथ. कभी नहीं होगा ये.
But आप जब high transaction value की बात करते हैं ना, then I agree the broker is required.
Not just high value transactions, but knowledge of a small micro market. right? Country is so huge. If you are not able to align brokers with you, you will not be able to scale and you will not be able to service every nook and corner of the country. You need to align brokers with you.
But the story which resonated with all the home buyers with no broker was कि मैं brokerage क्यों दे रहा हूँ? If the owner is putting the listing, मैं directly owner से बात करके ले लेता हूँ.
म्यूचुअल फंड हाउसेस को आप पैसे देते हो? क्यों देते हो? आप डायरेक्ट स्टॉक में इन्वेस्ट करो ना. करते हो आप डायरेक्ट स्टॉक में इन्वेस्ट?
No. Yeah.
क्यों देते हो म्यूचुअल फंड हाउस को पैसे? वो भी तो पैसे ले रहा है ना. He is giving you a valuable service, right?
True.
People don't mind paying brokerages. If you give a good advice, if you give a good service, people don't mind taking. You save lakhs of rupees and you pay a few thousand rupees in brokerage, people won't mind. If I'm paying 1 crore rupees and you give me better options, you give me best options which are to my liking, I'll not mind paying 1 lakh rupees extra. Because I'm spending 1 crore rupees, I want value out of that 1 crore rupees.
तो maybe buying में चलेगा ना, rental में still for the
rental में deposits होते हैं.
Yeah, उसमें भी negotiations
होते हैं, deposits होते हैं. फिर कई बार अगर आप direct owner से touch करते हो and owner plays around with you while returning deposits, you have no other option.
True.
Broker involved रहता है. You at least have someone who is locally connected, who will locally put pressure on the owner to get your deposit out.
True.
Right? So it's a complicated transaction, and I strongly feel, I mean, I have my doubts on no broker as a business, and I have my reasons, and I mean, this is what is my personal opinion. No broker is my senior from college, so
Okay.
I have absolutely huge regards for him and huge, respect, and I'm sure, international funds, big funds have invested. They know what they're doing, but to me, I'm putting my opinion here.
Investors will come back to that particular. I have few questions on that. So the write-off of Rahul Yadav investment by Info Edge has been in the news. What do you think went wrong in this partnership, and how it has impacted the Proptech ecosystem in India?
What went wrong, I think, is, to put it very frankly, I think personal integrity. To put it very frankly, because if you keep your own personal interests above everything else, right? It's exactly opposite of benevolence. It's exactly opposite. Where you think about others, and one is you think only about yourself. So I think that's the basic core issue in this overall episode. And InfoEdge is a hugely respected house, right? You cannot doubt about anything about InfoEdge. It's a hugely respected house, and I know people there personally, right? I've worked with them. So I have huge respect, and I have huge trust on their judgment. And I've seen in the past also there have been instances, so I will not want to comment on anybody's personal conduct, but as a outsider to everybody else, it seems the same to me, and I think that's where the problem lies: the personal integrity, conduct. What it has done to Proptech, investors' confidence.
Yeah.
But I think we were already in a dark spot. Real estate as an industry, brokerage as an industry. So we were already in a dark spot, and thanks to all of such episodes in the past. The good part is the market size is huge. Things are getting organized. So it's just about the confidence which people, have been losing. And again, this particular instance has again brought a big dent on that, big effect on the same lines on the confidence of investors and of the people outside. But apart from that, I think for us, nothing.
So what is your assessment of the current state of, Proptech, Indian Proptech industry? How has it evolved, and what do you see as a barrier or challenges or growth-wise, the major trends that you have observed in the current market?
So one is tech penetration has increased post-COVID. Okay, people have become more amenable to apps. People have become more and more the usage of apps with digital payments, with the, a lot of, if you talk about the food delivery apps, if you talk about your ride hailing apps, so they have all increased the tech penetration in a lot of other industries. Real estate is no different, right?
Yeah.
It's a basic need of humankind. Every person, every year, you will find people taking houses on rent. You will find people taking houses on buy. So real estate, a basic need, and tech penetration here is yet to happen. So to give you an example, when Ola and Uber were not there, so we were at the mercy of individual taxi walas.
Yeah.
Correct? They used to overcharge, they used to take you to wrong routes, they used to misbehave, they used to cartelize, right? They used to, whenever you get down to a Delhi station and you take a cab or you take an auto, it's a nightmare, right? People will cartelize and they will make you pay more or they will cheat you and all of that. But what did Ola and Uber did? They gave you a platform and they gave you rating. And you were able to get connected smoothly and you were able to hail rides and you just use taxi services and the entire experience of the buyer changed. Today, what is happening in real estate brokerage? You are at the mercy of a broker. You are reaching out to multiple brokers and brokers are taking you for a ride. Not all of them, but a large majority of them. That's what is happening, correct? So, definitely there is a need of a aggregator. Definitely there is a need of a company like PropertyPistol who can help you identify good brokers from not so good brokers, right? And give you a platform which you can trust. So I think that's where I see Proptech playing a huge role. And at PropertyPistol, we are pretty much set for that. We are well ahead of the curve and we have early mover advantage, and we are pretty much confident that we will do it in terms of what Swiggy's of the world have done to food delivery, Ola and Uber have done to taxi segment. So PropertyPistol Syndicate is going to do that for broker segment. Buyers, if I talk about buyers, so the searches have grown online, right? Property searches, now almost every buyer starts search online. Almost every buyer. Initially, it used to be 30-40% of the buyer starting their search online. Now it is almost 100%. So that way, from the buyer side of the picture, the digitization as a whole has increased. Buyer today would want to spend time at the home or office and shortlist few options and then go well informed into the market. Down the line, study, physically check out. They will first look at reviews, locality reviews, and they will do their research online before actually getting down to do the site visit.
True.
They would want more and more virtualization to happen.
Yeah.
I think the need of the hour is consolidation. Consolidation at the supply side. So consolidation at the supply side means all developers on the platform putting their live real-time inventory on the platform. Secondary market inventory is cumulatively 80 to 90% there with brokers. Cumulatively. Right? The entire set of brokers, if they come together, use a database, put their inventory there, keep it live and updated. So you have the entire secondary market consolidated. What it do to a buyer? A single platform where he gets real-time updated entire market inventory neatly laid out using tech.
And transparency. Trustworthy data.
True. Comprehensive and ability to take decision online goes up.
Yeah.
And then add on to it virtualization of site visit, using technology, drone images, this, that. Things are going to open up. So I was in a Google conference recently. Your maps are going to become 3D and you will be able to see a bird's eye view of the entire street on which you are moving. So all of this virtualization is going to add on to the digitization and the technology aspect of doing the entire transaction. So that's the customer side of it. Broker side of it, Syndicate is a huge initiative which is adding, immense value. And this trend is going to go up.
Yeah.
Definitely this trend is going to go up. It doesn't make sense for a buyer to go weekend after weekend for 3 months, 4 months and check out options. Doesn't make sense, right? Why do you want to spend that much of time? So Property Pistol's endeavor is to help buyer close transaction in like 3 days, from start of the search to close of the search. If I have given a choice, I would want to close it in a single day. And that's what is our personal ambition, that we streamline the entire transaction cycle by using technology. And I think Indian buyers have had enough of their share of hardships. Now is the time for a revolution and a change in the way people look at real estate.
So your current assessment of the PropTech industry is tech penetration is happening. And of course, the future that you have shared in terms of the buying experience. What else is there as a challenge right now the industry facing, the PropTech industry facing?
So I think trust, of course, we need investor trust.
Right.
We need more of people, to trust. And I think, if I think from, and I keep meeting a lot of, I've met during our fundraise cycle, I've met a lot of investors. And it's not like they don't like the company. It's not like they have any questions on the company, but, space, the industry, we don't trust. We have, we don't trust this industry. So I think that's a basic issue and a bottleneck where, trust, and the same, lack of trust is there in the buyer's mind. Because they will not trust easily because they've been cheated left, right and center. So I think that's one bottleneck which we need to overcome. That's one challenge which we need to overcome, and it's a big challenge. And I think, as a company, we are on a very strong footing. We are moving in a very right direction and we are attacking it, we are hitting it at the right spot. So we are taking care of that trust element from every stakeholder's perspective.
So do you think the current, I don't know if you would have read the Morning Context article on off-business work culture. So PropTech companies are also being scrutinized how the work culture is going on. Do you think the kind of the article which came out for against the founder of business, do you think did the media go completely at one-sided story of the employee?
I'm sorry, I have missed that article, and but to my mind, I'll not be able to comment. But yes, all I can say is people have not been employee-centric. A lot of my industry peers, I have seen how they play around with employees. I don't know which founder you're referring to, which company you're referring to. But yes, in general, if I look at landscape in real estate working, so I think people have been exploited. People have been taken for a ride. Employees, and I think it has been a very short-sighted approach on the part of founders, whosoever had done that, and people who have done that. This particular story, I'm sorry, I have not read it. I will not be able to comment.
So let's not talk about that story, but let's talk about the work culture in the PropTech ecosystem, the new startups that are coming in. What should a founder or an entrepreneur keep in mind? Because we are still an evolving industry, right?
Yeah.
There's still more to learn. There's still more to bring organized, way to go about it, especially in this real estate market. Do you think there is a key factors that someone needs to keep in mind when it comes to work culture?
Of course, work culture wise, for any industry, it holds for any industry. It holds for any employer in the country. That, your employee is your asset, right? Your employee is, what is a company, right? What's Property Pistol? Property Pistol is all about employees. Any company, Tata is all about employees. Reliance is all about employees. What is Reliance without employees? Is it a structure? Is it a office building? Is it a factory without employees? Nothing. Company is nothing without employees. What is Google without employees? Right? For that matter. So your employees are your real strength. Your employees are your real asset. And, not just in real estate, across the industry, you have to take care of your employees. You have to hire right. You have to hold them tight. And of course, you have to give them their dues. So it's a no-brainer. I think there's absolutely no-brainer. And your employees have to be your first priority. So I remember, 20th of March, I think 20 or 22nd of March, lockdown was announced. right? At around 7 o'clock in the evening, if I'm right, or maybe 5 o'clock. So my accountant stays in Panvel, okay? And I have my accounts in Navi Mumbai. So I immediately sent my driver, I got him, and I said, you release this month's salary today.
That was your priority. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, we have to think about our employees all the time. And I think companies like Tata, right, they have survived because, they've come this far because they have taken care of their employees so well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, you have to take care of your employees.
But Ashish, when it comes to broker industry or when it comes to certain services, it's quite target oriented, right? Target oriented मतलब आप अपनी टीम को बोलो this is the certain target you have to achieve. If they are not able to achieve, then you have to set certain kind of rules, right? You cannot be completely coy about it कि it's okay. But I think this is where the disconnect is happening, right? How do you, because even in global market, there are targets. Sale agents have certain targets monthly, right?
Correct.
And they are abide by the rules set by the company.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Indian market, it is looked as mental harassment. It looked as it's not the right way to go about it. Why, if I have not achieved certain target, why am I being fired? It can be both the side, pros and cons. So what is your take on when it's target-oriented jobs?
So one is you have to be very clear in your hiring process that this is a sales job. There will be targets. And if you are interested in, making money, this is the place for you, right? If you are interested in putting in extra efforts, this is the place for you. And this is true for any sales job. Right?
Yeah.
Sales is all about making incentives, all about being a go-getter. Yeah. Right? Sales is all about that. It's like, in a tribe, if I give you an example, in a tribe, there are hunter dogs.
Yeah.
Right? So sales is about being a hunter dog. And it doesn't come if it's not there in you. It doesn't come if it's not there in you.
True.
Right? You need to get kick out of sales. You need to get you need to have that connect. You need to have a core inside you which feels good when you speak to people, when you go out, talk to people, when you engage people, when you help them in closing transaction and doing sales. So I think every employee needs to be very clear that sales and a non-sales job.
Yeah.
So sales would need a different type of mindset. That's one. You have to be very clear about it when you hire people. And you have to be very clear about the job description. That it's sales, you have to talk to customers, you have to go out and meet them, you have to engage them if I talk about real estate, at the site level, to be able to convince them to buy a product. And then you have to be able to follow up and close the transaction end to end. And your core task is to do sales for the company. So that's one. Second, you hire people, right? And you have a spectrum of performance. You have poor performers and you have top class performers, and you have everyone else in between, right? So how do you handle your bottom performers, right? You need to have learning and development department. You need to have proper training. You need to have proper measurement of the performance. You need to ensure that you monitor the quality and you make the person aware that, boss, this is your performance. This is where you are lacking. This is what you need to do. You need to identify whether it's a will issue or a skill issue. If it's a skill issue, it's an employer's responsibility to fix that, right? If it's a will issue, it's employer responsibility to a large extent, whether you are able to motivate him with the right incentives. If there is a problem in the person, if he's at a wrong place, intentionally or unintentionally, then you have to give him a proper notice. You will tell him, boss, we'll not be able to give you growth. It's a waste of time for you. And it's a waste of time for us. And it's not conducive for you to stay with us because of XYZ reasons, which that person also understands.
True.
So it's all about how do you handle that.
Yeah.
Right? How do you handle that? I mean, you have people. People have their own commitments. People have EMIs. People have families to take care. You just can't fire people like that.
True.
You need to give them enough of time to perform. You need to be very clear about your expectations. You need to help them meet those expectations. You need to set right processes, right technology, right person should know if I'm coming to my office what I need to do.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm not able to do, there's a support system. In my immediate manager, in my manager's managers, in my top management. My CEO should be able to listen to me. He should be able to answer my questions. If nobody else is answering, CEO should be accessible to me. Right? That's one. Second, you have a learning and development department.
Yeah.
And then you have clear idea about that person knows that this is what is my target. If I do this, I get this. If I don't do this, I get nothing. And if I get nothing for this much of period of time, I'm in problem. People will come and talk to me. People will understand why am I doing this, and I don't want to be in that space. So they should be clear. Your sales team should be very clear. This is the expectation, and this is how the company, this is the policy, this is the process, and this is what we do. So I think it's no rocket science. Thing is you have to be clear. You have to communicate. You have to inform, and you can't be, you can't have knee-jerk reactions.